Hello and welcome to Video Game Hangover. I'm Randy Dickinson and I'm in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Hey, I'm DJ Ross. I'm in Mountain View, California.
Each week on Video Game Hangover, we talk about the games that have been keeping us up at night. This week we're talking about Bugsnax.
Oh,
Everybody's talking about Bugsnax.
I get it.
Sackboy, A Big Adventure, and Piffle.
Piffle.
Piffle, that game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good old Piffle. I don't know.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a good time. I've spent more time with it than it is responsible. So
I was just thinking I shouldn't do the same old routine whenever there's a game that I've never heard of. I'm just like, oh, that game. I'm sure it's fun.
Oh, that game. Sure, and then I have to sort of defend my position on it. No, really. Yeah.
I should have done the same thing with Sackboy. Just be like, oh, yes, Sackboy.
That game.
Right.
So how's things? How's life? How are you doing?
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, as fine as things can be.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Just because, gesture is around towards everything.
Broadly at everything. Yeah. I'm with you. Absolutely.
It's fine.
I hear you.
That's good.
Good. Yeah. Likewise.
We're getting to that point of the year where kind of thinking about what games I want to finish up for the whole game of the year thing. If that's still a thing. Mm-hmm. And man, it really snuck up on me this year. I'm just like, I can't believe we're at this point already, because on some level it just feels like we're still in March. But we're actually at that point. Yeah.
A lot of us pushed pause in March and have not hit the play button again since, in varying degrees. And that's obviously a privilege and a luxury for some of us to be able to have. Whether or not we view it that way, I guess, it's up to us. But I mean, I know there are people who have had to work very hard over the last few months, or people whose life have just sort of trucked on without a blip. But I'm speaking for you and I know that, things went a little sideways earlier in the year, and we're still trying to figure out how to move into 2021.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm only vaguely aware that time is still passing. Like, occasionally there'll be some evidence. But the fact that I was like, oh, I'm going to have to put together a game of the year list soon was one reminder of that.
Likewise. And I've worked retail every year for the last 18 plus years of my life, and this is the first year that I'm not working in retail, so it's weird to sort of be moving into holiday, into Black Friday, and sort of the insanity that generally comes with that time of year, and to not be a part of it. Yeah. Which is, I mean, kind of exciting. Oh, thank God I don't have to work on Black Friday for the first time as an adult.
For a lot of reasons.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons, but kind of weird just to kind of be sort of processing it as a consumer and not as a somebody on the other side of that transaction, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's it has been odd, and odd is probably the best word for it.
Yeah, that would be strange. Well, I hope, for what it's worth, that you're able to enjoy having the year off, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, totally. I try to take sort of the bright side and see it as a unique, like I said, sort of to push pause. As an adult, I've not had the luxury of being able to do that for a very, very long time. So to be able to sort of roll into into the holidays and not have to stress over work-related stuff and how do I get sort of time with friends in and time with family in, and oh God, how am I going to, get to see my parents, and et cetera, et cetera. So, to not be able to like fret about all of those things is not a bad place to be. I mean, the circumstances that got me there kind of stink, but if there's a bright side of this, is that I don't have to spend 14 hours in a mall on Black Friday.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah, it's never great. So trying to stay positive and see the bright side.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's a good attitude.
Yeah. Let's see how far that gets me.
Okay. Good luck with that.
Thank you. We have some positive things going on here. We have fun, exciting things happening at Video Game Hangover.
We do. I mean, we always do.
Yeah, absolutely. Extra Life continues. We do want to sort of update the community that Team VGH is now over $2,800 raised for the year. And just, put in a little plug that you can continue to donate to the cause until December 31st of this year. If you've not been able to donate up to this point or would like to donate again, we can still accept donations on behalf of the charity until the very last day of 2020. And you can go to VGHangover.com/extralife to continue donating until then.
Yeah, that'll be very cool. And thank you again so much to everybody who has donated up to this point.
Yeah, it continues to be just a awe-inspiring blessing to have such generous people in our community.
Yeah. Did I catch we cracked the top 500 teams, or we're right on the cusp of doing that?
We were right on the cusp. Just last week we were in 511 globally, and we had a couple of donations pop through over the week, and we are now up to number 504 globally.
Ooh, okay.
So listeners, your donation could be the one that breaks us into the top 500. So, it's a weird yardstick to measure your success by, but if you would like to help us get into the top 500, you can go to VGHangover.com/extralife and kick in a few pesos to help us do that.
I might just do that myself. I'm going to put that on my resume.
Do it.
Top 500 Extra Life team.
Absolutely. And then, as we typically do this time of year, we want to let everybody know that the Drunktacular is coming. If you're a new listener here at Video Game Hangover, the Drunktacular is our year-end finale, our season finale. It's the last episode that we typically record of the year, and it generally is us drinking more than we usually drink while recording, and taking your calls, emails, questions, tweets, whatever. It's very interactive, and we're actually going to crank up that interactivity a little bit this year and actually have a little bit of a VGH holiday party. We're going to stream it on Twitch. We're going to take your questions, comments, thoughts, observations live while we're recording. And then for those of you who just listen to the audio part of this, we'll dump that into the feed and make sure that you can hear it as well. But we want to ask you to save the date on Saturday, December 12th, sometime in the evening. We will be streaming live, and we would love for you to tune in for that.
Yeah, you can get your questions in at that point. But in the coming weeks, we'll also explain how you can just send in your burning questions to us to have them answered on that episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for now, just think about it.
Yep. But we want to put it on your calendar. Saturday, December 12th. It's not that far away. It will come up faster than you're ready for. And we would like to make sure that somebody tunes in to watch us make fools of ourselves on the internet.
Yeah. Should be good.
Yeah, definitely. Well, cool. That's two exciting things.
Yeah.
Know what else is exciting?
Is it Piffle?
It's Piffle. Piffle is so exciting.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, this is a fun little sort of distraction I've had for the last couple of weeks. Do you? Yeah, of course you do. Remember the game Hold Down a couple of years ago?
Yes.
Yes, I was quite obsessed with it. I think you had a good time with it as well.
I did. I finished it, or however, as much as you can finish that game, I suppose.
Yeah. That was one of those sort of rare mobile games that had like one price, you got the entire game, and it actually had a fairly definitive ending. There was like a level structure and a finale, and that unlocked kind of an endless mode. But it was a pretty kind of self-contained gaming experience for mobile. Where my association typically with mobile games is that they are sort of these ever-growing, reformulating products that continue to look for ways to bleed money out of the users. Hold Down was a sort of a beginning, middle, and end kind of product that existed entirely as one download. Yeah. So what it was kind of a modern take on Arkanoid, essentially. It was you kind of doing Brick Breaker, throwing balls against bricks with numbers on them and trying to break them. Therein was the puzzle. and it would continue to go. You had to sort of collect more and more balls to throw against the bricks. And there was, some subtle math attached to it. And it had kind of a cool, cutesy presentation. And it was quite obsession-inspiring.
Yeah, it was very addictive in a weird way. And the way I like to describe it is, like an Arkanoid, when you get the ball lodged in between like the top of the screen and the top of the stack of bricks, and it's just like bouncing back and forth so quickly, and it's very satisfying.
Yeah.
So it's like that, but that happens the entire game.
Right. Yes, absolutely. As the thrower, you're trying to sort of like line up those shots perfectly. You're trying to find those little kind of little gutters, little gullies in the spaces in between the bricks where you can get a ball lodged and just let it kind of go crazy, bouncing back and forth and taking out tiles.
Right.
Yeah. Piffle is essentially a take on that, whatever that genre is. Brick Breaker, I guess, is the genre, but it is done with a very kind of super cutesy, kawaii, Hello Kitty kind of vibe, where you are a cute little person in a cat costume playing ball in a park when an evil robot swoops down and steals your dog.
Oh, no.
And you have to play Brick Breaker essentially to get your dog back. And you go on an adventure to try to rescue your dog and throw balls against bricks to break them in a sort of ever unfurling, seemingly endless parade of puzzles that are very much sort of taken from Brick Breaker and Hold Down. It is super fun. It is as sort of obsession inspiring as Brick Breaker. What was it called? Hold Down was for me. The cutesy presentation is a delight. It is done really, really well. I'm not sure who the art director on this is. The developer is called Hipster Whale, and I'm. Does that mean something?
Didn't they do Crossy Road? I think
they did do Crossy Road. Yeah, absolutely. Good pull. So this is from them.
This does not look anything like Crossy Road, though. It's very like flat cartoon illustration kind of thing.
Yeah, Crossy Road was like Frogger, essentially, right?
Yeah, but it was all kind of I don't know if they were voxels exactly, but it was kind of a blocky, like Minecraft isometric look.
Right. Yeah, this looks more like
different.
Saturday morning cartoon kind of. Yeah.
It reminds me of, I'm drawing a blank. I actually thought of that, what was that pet rescue game we played a few months ago?
Oh, yeah.
But
what was that called?
Something like they look a bit Hello Kitty to me.
Yeah, that's where my brain sort of immediately went Sanrio.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had a really good time with it. As a mobile game, unfortunately, it does suffer from that sort of endless need to ask you to spend money. I feel you every day you sort of get 5 hearts. Each heart is sort of an attempt, is a play, and you can bring different kind of accessories into each battle with you. You can bring a pair of sunglasses that let you see where your moves are going to go. It gives you kind of the bouncy dotted line around the arena that tells you exactly where your ball is going to bounce when you throw it against the bricks. You can get a bowling ball, which is sort of a heavyweight that breaks bricks more aggressively. You can get a little can of extra balls, essentially, that kind of pops open and 3 balls pour out, and it makes your number of throws higher. But you have to buy all of those.
Oh,
so if you go into you can earn them through play as well, and by watching videos and blah blah blah, all of the things that mobile games tend to do to you.
No, I hate that. I don't want to watch an ad to unlock stuff.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So all that stuff sort of exists within Piffle, unfortunately.
You can't just like pay $5 up front or whatever and turns all that off?
You can't on mobile, but what I found you can do is this game is also on the Switch. And you can pay, rather than it being sort of a pay-as-you-go, keep your credit card handy kind of game, you pay 1 fee up front and you get the entire shebang.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah. I have been playing it on both consoles.
Oh.
I play it for a little while on my phone until I run out of tries and I don't want to spend any money.
It tells you can't play it anymore. You're just like,
right, exactly.
See about this.
It tells me, you run out of hearts for the day, come back in 40 minutes when your hearts respawn or whatever the thing is. And during that time, I will put the phone down and pick up my Switch and just play it for a little while on my Switch. So I get twice as much Piffle for my buck.
Wait, but the Switch version is unlimited?
Yes. Yeah, the Switch doesn't have any sort of microtransactions or anything like that.
Well, so why do you keep going back to your phone?
Because I can still play the phone for free for a little while.
Yeah, okay. It's just, ever present.
Yeah, and it's fun, and each challenge sort of feels relatively new, even if you kind of get the same, starting layout of bricks. The way that you attack them is going to be different no matter how many times you kind of approach it. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't necessarily feel repetitive to do the same puzzles over and over. So, so yeah.
I don't know if I've ever done that, just playing the same game on two platforms, like from day one.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever done it before either. And it more or less came from me being frustrated about sort of the constant pop-ups. Not constant. I don't mean to sort of like berate them for trying to make money. They've got to sell their product, of course. But me just being sort of frustrated by that sort of constantly popping up on my cell phone going, geez, I wish there was kind of an all-in for this. I wish I could pay one fee and get the entire game. Mm-hmm. And then I looked up the developers on the internet, and lo and behold, there's a Switch version of this thing that is exactly that. It's one cost for the download and you get access to everything.
Yeah. I forget how aggressive Crossy Road was with that kind of stuff, but I imagine... that was popular enough. I'm sure they have all the metrics now where they're like, well, we should just not provide that option on phones or the mobile version because it's way better to have these ads popping up every 30 seconds than to just sell people the game outright.
Yeah. I don't know that I played Crossy Road. I think I played Crossy Road on a console. I don't think I played it on my phone. Yeah.
Well, that's weird.
I don't know. Or maybe I just played it at Dave & Buster's.
They have it? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Which is the ultimate pyramid scheme, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have had a good time with Piffle. If you like this kind of endlessly addictive, ball-throwing, brick-breaking kind of game, then Piffle is a cute and fun and entertaining one to check out.
Okay, well, I was a fan of... Hold Down.
Hold Down.
I'm also a fan of Downwell. But,
yes.
Okay, I'll give it a look. With
not as caution. Good as Hold Down. Hold Down sets a pretty high standard, I think. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't think those devs have made a follow-up to that yet, to my knowledge. But yeah, Piffle definitely scratches the same itch.
All right.
It's cute.
Yeah, it's got little cat donuts.
Yeah, yes. All of the little balls that you throw against the bricks are cute little furry animals. So, and they're called piffles. You got to throw your piffles against the bricks. And you unlock different kind of designs for them. You can, different types of cats and dogs and things like that you can throw. And it sort of customizes your little piffle balls.
Did you ever play, I think the same dev did Pac-Man 256?
I did play that. Is that the same developer? I didn't know that.
I think so. I'm like 90% sure. That was fun for a little while, but also I just got the same weird vibes that it just felt strangely like cynical and engineered to like extract money out of you. As opposed to just like being an entertaining game first.
Again, I think that's probably when I played on console and didn't play on mobile, so I don't know that I had that experience with it.
Okay, I forget exactly how it worked, but I remember coming away from that game feeling slightly suspect of that developer at that point. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I think I don't fault developers for wanting to make money. That's how you get to continue, paying your bills and making games. I feel like there are ways to do it that, like you said, don't feel opportunistic or cynical. And yeah, I find that I sort of run out of resources so frequently in Piffle that, or get to a point where I continue to sort of waste lives trying to get through a single puzzle with no power-ups because I've run out of power-ups. I don't have any, sunglasses or bowling balls left to spend on them, and it just seems impossible to get through some of these challenges. Like, it is scientifically designed to make sure that I spend money on these things or sacrifice progress. It does feel a little abusive.
Yeah. And I don't know nothing about the actual business of making games like this, so I can't really I probably shouldn't talk much more about how effective these schemes are. But what I do know is I play games all over the spectrum, and there are some games with similar mechanics that I can tolerate and feel all right about playing, and there are some instances possibly Crossy Road and Pac-Man 256 where I just don't really feel great about it.
Sure, I get you.
Does it give you a bonus for logging in every day?
It does. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you get a free item from a little roulette wheel kind of thing when you log in, and then if you want a second free item, you have to watch a 30-second ad for another crappy game.
The thing with the ads is, I guess if it's a free game to begin with, then sure, they gotta. I don't know, maybe they don't gotta show you an ad. I was just gonna say maybe it's required, but that is definitely a red flag if just an ad pops up and there's not really a way to buy out of it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it's optional. If you don't want the second free thing, you get a free thing for signing in. If you don't want the second free thing, you don't have to watch the ad.
Yeah, but you kind of want the free thing.
Oh, I totally want the free thing.
I forget what game I was playing, but I had a whole system where I'm just I'm gonna watch that thing, so I would plan it out in a way where I could put my phone down and do something else while the ad was playing, so I'm not actually watching it. So I was I don't want to sit here and watch whatever's going on in this ad.
Yeah. So I put the phone down and tend to my pumpkins in Animal Crossing or whatever and come back in 30 seconds and continue.
Right.
Yeah, those ads are not compelling. Never once have I watched one of those ads and thought, oh, that's the game I really should be playing.
I think it was that Tiny Death Star game, which I loved, but there are so many ads in that game. Oh my god. Anyway, well that's getting a little off track. But I think I'll still take a look at this, just see what the hipster whales are up to.
Yeah.
Some hold down.
Hold down's the way to go. Yeah, if for some reason Piffle seems too much, just play hold down again.
Yeah.
Which is also now on the Switch as well.
Okay. Do you turn your Switch sideways for that?
You don't. No, that's kind of the weird thing about it.
Missed opportunity.
It does feel like a big missed opportunity, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's Piffle. What have you been playing?
I did it. I played some Bugsnax. It's real.
Nice. Man, I feel like this game was teased a very long time ago.
I know, but it was actually only announced last month.
No, that's not true.
No, it's not. But I forget when. There wasn't even an E3 this year, but I forget when they first showed it off. Was it at a PS5 thing, right?
Something
sounds about right.
I know that it sort of surfaced again during the Cozy Games thing. What was that? That was July, right?
Yeah, that was 10 years ago.
Wholesome Games. That's what it was called. It was the right.
I think.
Yeah, it was the Wholesome Games streaming gaming presentation thing.
Their Wholesome Direct or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was first shown off at the PS5 reveal or whatever that event was. And nobody had ever heard of it, and they had that great trailer with the catchy song that everybody was singing. Very weird trailer.
Yes. And that was the thing that they sort of revisited during the Wholesome Games Direct was sort of a live quarantine edition of the Bugsnax theme song by the band Kira Kira Bonito. And it was just adorable. And then stuck in my head for the next 5 months.
Right. So I was really into the song and just how weird it was and how strange the game looked and how few details they actually explained to us in that trailer. I was kind of thinking like, well, should I even play this? Because I don't know anything about it except for it has a cool theme song. It's by the Octodad developers, which was like, I liked Octodad. So, that's a point for them.
Yeah.
But really know nothing about the game. The responsible thing to do would just be to wait a while. And I don't know what happened, but I guess everybody last week was super excited about, their shiny new consoles. And I was just kind of like, oh, I wish I had a shiny new thing to talk about. Oh, Bugsnax is here. I'll just do this while everybody is, downloading Spider-Man Miles Morales or whatever.
Yeah. And we should say you're not playing this on the PS5. It also came out for the PS4.
Yeah, it's on PS4, and I think it's on the Epic Game Store on PC. So I played it, and it's actually I'm having a pretty good time with it. It's a fun game.
Oh, good.
It is. So I went into it completely blind, and now I know things about it, which is also exciting. It starts out, if you didn't see that trailer, I guess the game itself starts out. It does kind of the Christopher Nolan thing where it starts out and you're just in this strange scenario and you don't know what's going on. And suddenly you're attacked by what appears to be a giant Bugsnax or some kind of monster thing, and immediately it flashes back and it's like 2 weeks earlier, and you discover that you received this film reel from an explorer who has gone to Snacktooth Island to research Bugsnax. And you've been invited to come cover it because you're a journalist.
You're the journalist!
Working for this kind of newspaper. So you go there and then just everything is all messed up for some reason. Like you get there and the explorer or the researcher has disappeared, and there used to be this little village where everybody on the island lived, and everybody has abandoned it and gone their separate ways. And it's kind of up to you to work with the mayor and bring everyone back to the village. And along the way, the mayor teaches you about Bugsnax, which are the island's indigenous creatures, which are some kind of they're like a combination of wildlife or insects and some type of food. They make it clear they're neither animal nor food, really. We don't know what they are. And it's like, I don't really know how that works, but sure. It's funny because it reminded me of the Pinko Park game that I played recently, which was kind of like wildlife photography. This is not quite, you're not really doing photography in this, but it is very similar in that you're just in this environment and you're observing the local wildlife and trying to either kind of scan them like Metroid style, but ultimately you want to trap them and capture them and bring them back to the village. So you're given a trap by the mayor, and you can use the trap to capture just the basic Bugsnax you see walking around, whether it's by placing it in like the path that they're walking along, or sometimes you have to get a little more creative, like you have to lure them out of like a hole or a bush that they're hiding in, or maybe have another Bugsnax, like you provoke it so it charges at them and knocks it on their back or something, and then you can just pick it up. But it's a lot about just observing the Bugsnax that are around you and figuring out how you can capture them. And eventually, as you progress through the game, you unlock more and more tools that help you capture more like the trickier varieties of Bugsnax.
Oh. Do you at any point snack on the Bugsnax?
You do. And
is that sort of the last scene is just a giant feast of you eating bugs?
Just a feast of Bugsnax. Well, this is probably the weirdest thing, and it's not really, it hasn't been very well addressed so far, but it seems like the reason everybody is so fascinated by the Bugsnax is they are just delicious, and they love eating them. And then the weird thing is when they eat them, one of their body parts will just turn into that Bugsnax, or so if they eat a strawberry Bugsnax, their hand just turns into like a bunch of strawberries, or they can eat a kebab and their leg turns into a bunch of fruit and vegetables on a skewer.
Yeah.
And they will talk about how that happens, they acknowledge it. they call it snackification. But they don't say, well, this is why this happens, or this is why this is good, or this is something we should be trying to avoid, because like our body parts are turning into food.
Right.
It's very weird.
But this is a thing that happens, and we are nonplussed by it.
Yeah, it's just, just what happens when you eat a Bugsnax. You just turn into a rack of ribs or a hot dog. I don't know why you're making such a big deal about it.
That's so weird.
It's really strange. So I'm not sure what to make of that. I wonder if it's actually going to go anywhere. I like, there are all these rumors when all we had to go on was the trailer where it was like, what if this is a horror game and there are these Bugsnax monsters stalking you and everybody is like transforming into weird food monstrosities. It's really not going in that direction, or at least it doesn't seem to be, apart from the weird and ominous intro where you're attacked by the giant Bugsnax. It's actually very cheerful, and the writing is very funny. The all the characters are very well written, and the voice acting is terrific. Everybody in the village seems to like hate everybody else. Like the mayor is totally dysfunctional, and everybody's just sick of him trying to run the show. And there's another one of the villagers is just trying to like dig up juicy gossip about everybody else. It's ridiculous. So I'm like a few hours into it. I've captured a fair number of Bugsnax. I have a partial map of the island filled out. It seems like it's actually, I don't know if it's like an enormous game, but you can spend a decent amount of time with it. And it's just kind of a fun thing, similar to Pengo Park, just to go out and hang out in a place and try and capture Pokemon, essentially, and it's just super weird the entire time. So it's a little bit of a puzzler / adventure game, I suppose.
Okay, I was gonna say, is there like combat or anything like that? Are you in danger of failing or dying? Or
no, not really. Like some of the Bugsnax will be aggressive and like charge at you, but all that happens is you just end up getting knocked up into the air. You don't have health or anything, and I don't think you can fall off a cliff or something like that. But so far, there have been no game overs or anything. It's been very player friendly.
Nice.
Oh, it is just it's so whimsical. Just the fact that they have the design of all the Bugsnax, essentially. Mm-hmm. What I really like is it's like supposedly a centipede, but it's like a rack of ribs. So if you just imagine like ribs kind of undulating along the ground like a centipede would. Oh, and it just has googly eyes on the front because every single one of these has just the paste on googly eyes instead of a face. It's really good.
Excellent. That is my sort of mental association, and it comes from that theme song video, the Kira Kira Bonita video of the lead singer kind of holding a cartoon Bugsnax, and it's a strawberry with googly eyes.
Yeah, strabby.
So that is whenever I think of Bugsnax, I think of that weird with little spider legs on the bottom of it, of course, but essentially a strawberry with googly eyes.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. I again, from sort of months of this being teased and not really having a sense of what the heck it is, other than it's cute and I want to play it. It's kind of interesting to hear that there's a game there, and that you're kind of fun with it. The reviews started popping up for it early last week, and we were sharing them in our Discord, and it seemed a little polarizing there. It seemed like there's some critics who were super into it and had a really good time, and there were a few folks who were like, I don't get it. I don't know what's going on, where this is going. And it very much seems like the kind of thing that, like, if you're going to like Bugsnax, you probably know you're going to like Bugsnax. Yeah, but again, it's exciting to hear that there are some mechanics and some fundamentals kind of attached to this oddball world they've created.
I wonder why people weren't into it. I mean, it's not exactly like Dark Souls in terms of how demanding the gameplay is, but it's just the whole thing is very goofy.
Yeah,
it's very lighthearted, with just occasional hints of just weird darkness and strange sense of humor sneaking in. But that was kind of like how Octodad was.
Yeah. Yes, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, for our listeners who don't know Octodad, I mean, the conceit of that was that you are an octopus disguised as a suburban father.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you are trying to sort of go about your life, go about your day with 8 limbs, just leaving a wake of destruction in your path and get things done, all under sort of the sort of maintaining your disguise as an octopus dad.
Yeah, I forget how the like disguise o-meter or whatever worked in that thing. Like if you could actually be discovered or what. But a lot of the humor in it was like, hey, just go to the store and perform these normal human tasks, like put a carton of milk in your shopping cart or whatever. Don't let anybody know you're an octopus, when the entire time it is so obvious you're an octopus. Like, you're just wearing a suit or whatever.
In a suit with 8 legs, yeah, and a giant mustache.
Yeah, but it kept coming up there like, oh, what's up with that guy? It just seems a little off. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah.
So it's not the exact type of it's not the same type of humor going on in Bugsnax, but it's still like all the writing is very good. It's just kind of just a whimsical situation that you're in.
Cool. Well, excellent. Yeah, this is definitely on my want to play it list, but man, that list just for the last 2 or 3 weeks has grown immensely. So
has it?
Trying to be pretty methodical about how I tackle all these games, but yeah, just man, it feels like there's been a crush of video games. Well, I mean, obviously with sort of launch of new consoles, of course, that kind of comes with it. But yeah, I just spent so many months just playing Animal Crossing that suddenly there are other games now I want to play.
Yeah, this is definitely, like, I don't think it's that long. I want to get through it before the end of the year because I want to get to some other stuff. But it's a nice kind of detour from a bunch of longer games that I've been playing.
Excellent. All right. What else? I've been playing... this is one of those new games that I wanted to play. I've been playing Sackboy, A Big Adventure.
Yeah.
This is sort of a detour on the Little Big Planet pathway. It is not a Little Big Planet game in the same way that Little Big Planet 1, 2, and 3 were. It's
you're not actually like building anything in this.
Right. I mean, the central conceit for those kind of mainline Little Big Planet games was giving you kind of a set of tools to kind of build your own video game levels. And a lot of... I guess the appeal for many folks with those games was having that cool tool set, which kind of grew and expanded over the course of the series, to be able to kind of rebuild anything you could think of in terms of gaming.
Yeah. And you could like share levels over the internet and play all the stuff that other people had created, which was a big hook.
Yeah, it was very much sort of a precursor to kind of the Mario Maker idea, where you could take all of these assets and skins and little mechanisms, sound cues and one-up blocks and power-ups and things like that, and kind of sprinkle them into a video game world of your own design. And again, as the series sort of went on, that continued to sort of grow and expand so that you could make different types of games and different camera angles and different audio cues and things like that. I was never super into making my own levels. I find that I'm not that kind of gamer necessarily, but all of those came with their own campaigns, and certainly there was a lot of interest in me just hopping online and checking out the other cool worlds that other people had created and shared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I mostly played through the campaign and maybe checked out 1 or 2 custom levels, and I was like, this is interesting, but I don't know if the game grabbed me quite enough to just make that a thing that I checked in on regularly.
Yeah, I stayed with it. I played all of them. I played the one on the Vita. I think I played the one on the PSP. And there was a Little Big Planet kart racer that came out for the PS3, where you could build your car and build racetracks and things like that. I played the heck out of that. I kind of went hard on Little Big Planet. I find the series very appealing. I like video games with dress up, and Little Big Planet is essentially like dress up to the millionth degree. You're getting, in addition to sort of customizing your world and your levels and stuff like that, you're getting tons of little kind of paper doll elements for your characters. So you're dressing up your Sackboy, your Sackgirl, and eventually you had a Sackdog that you could kind of design around, playing through levels and unlocking different pieces of costumes and stuff like that. Of course, Sony supported this with tons of DLC for different, you could get the Nathan Drake costume and things like that you could download to put on Sackboy. So yeah, a lot of that stuff was kind of fun, and I just sort of presented in a way that was kind of cute and endearing. So yeah, I stuck with that series all along. So the proposition for Sackboy: A Big Adventure for this new game was to really just sort of focus on creating a really good platformer, to not put all the building tools in there, to not sort of ship the game with a tool set for building your own levels, but to create, for the developers to create something that was kind of a top tier, best in its class kind of 2D platformer.
Was it actually 2D or was it 3D?
Yeah. The ones in the Little Big Planet games historically have been kind of 2D side scrollers. Yeah. Sackboy: A Big Adventure is now a 3D platformer.
Okay. I watched a little bit of this, and it reminds me. I mean, the closest thing to it that I played would probably be Super Mario 3D World.
Very much so.
Which was decidedly not in the 2D format that they usually are.
Yeah. So that's a pretty big shift for this. It makes the levels feel much bigger. It makes them feel much more expansive. It makes them feel like there's, and it gives the developers a lot more room to kind of hide secrets, to hide little secondary pathways, to hide hidden things, to hide little, mechanisms and switches that open up secret pathways to make it feel like you're kind of discovering cool additional things. And since the focus is not so much on kind of creating a flat template essentially for you to kind of glue a game together inside of, it does feel like a much more kind of cohesive and expansive kind of epic. So calling it a big adventure is not mislabeling it by any stretch. It does feel much grander than any of the Little Big Planet campaigns have before. So I mean, some of the criticisms I think that folks had of the kind of the platforming in Little Big Planet was essentially that Sackboy was very floaty. He didn't quite have, kind of the platforming precision, the jumping precision of a Mario. And it
felt like there was so much, like it was so much of it was just built around like the physics interactions between like moving objects that you could place, and you could grab onto surfaces and kind of get flung around. But as a result, because it was so reliant on that, it was just like the basic platforming physics were not super satisfying and kind of frustrating at times.
Yeah. Some of that still exists in
the
Sackboy game. Yeah, it's he still doesn't quite run as fast as you would like him to. He doesn't quite sort of land exactly as you would expect him to. And I think I have 30 years of Mario games, well, 35 to be precise is the right number. 35 years of Mario games kind of in my brain, and just really playing Super Mario Odyssey in the last 2 years, and playing what's the one I've been playing recently? Galaxy, just recently. Mario's pretty precise. Like, you always know if you hit jump where Mario's going to land.
Yeah.
And Sackboy, it still sometimes, unfortunately, feels like a bit of a gamble. He still feels a little not as heavy as he should be. He doesn't quite land as predictably as I would like him to.
I was really hoping that like this would be their opportunity to like fix all that, because if you don't have the weird, you don't have to make all the allowances for the custom levels and all that, then you can really just tweak the physics to do what you want them to do all the time.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, so that's a step.
Yeah, absolutely, but it's not gone. I mean, I really kind of, I don't know if I thought maybe they would just throw away Sackboy's old kind of moveset, and really just kind of give him kind of modern platformer moves. And they did kind of expand his moveset. He's got a lot more things that he can do in terms of like punching enemies and fighting. He has like a spin move where he can kind of goes into like a whirlwind and kind of spins around and knocks out a bunch of enemies in a shot. He has a bunch of tools that he can use, and some of this existed in the Little Big Planet games too, but you get like a little jetpack, you get like a little paintball gun, you get a little umbrella that allows you to do kind of like a floaty move. He has a double jump now, which Sackboy's never had. The second jump, you can kind of hold the A button, and he flutters like Yoshi. So you get kind of like a little extra, kind of like in the air, kind of like heave-ho at the end of your jump, to give you a little more precision on where you land. So there's a lot of that stuff has kind of been modernized and kind of brought up to kind of what I expect from a modern kind of 3D platformer. But there is still something a little wiggy about the way that Sackboy kind of jumps and lands that doesn't quite feel up to snuff.
Huh. I wonder if people are just used to that from playing the Little Big Planet games, where if they had really just delivered something where he's, stops on a dime like Mario, people would freak out.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what the commitment to that is, where that comes from. Yeah. That said, that withstanding, that sort of, I guess, modest but important complaint, I'm having a blast with this. It is a lot of fun. It's a lot of content. Like I said, some of these levels are huge and have a lot of really fun detours. There's tons of little mini games you can kind of get into. I mean, the game is essentially kind of a collector's paradise where every world has tons of little hidden objects and costume pieces and detours. You're trying to sort of, at the end of your level, you get a level recap where you get there's a little gift box that tells you you've unlocked and found all of the little hidden objects in a level, and there's a little ace, a little on a playing card that means you've aced the level, you got through it without dying. You're trying to just collect everything and do it in a way where you don't have to give up all your lives to get there.
That's how it was in the Little Big Planet games, wasn't it?
I think so, yes. Yeah. That sounds very familiar.
That's interesting because I remember collecting, there were stickers or something that you could find,
right?
Which in retrospect feels like a very Mario thing, but it was in those games since the beginning. Yeah.
And there's, in addition to that, there are between 3 and some of the levels, have 5 and 6, they're called, I think, Dream Spheres is what they call them in Sackboy. They're essentially the big coin from the modern Mario levels that, you don't need them to finish the level, but if you can find and collect all 3 of them, it means that you've sort of found all the detours, you've found all the hidden spots in the Mario games. Sackboy has exactly those as well. And in fact, you redeem those at the end of each world to have access to the big boss fight. And yeah, so that's fun too. I don't think the Little Big Planet games have really ever had kind of convincing boss battles before, and because Sackboy's now in 3D and you have kind of this expanded move set with all of these fun little tools and toys that he can play with, there are some pretty intense and spectacular kind of big boss battles at the ends of these worlds. So yeah, it is a very convincing attempt to kind of bring kind of the stodgy, weird Little Big Planet structure into something that does feel a little more crafted, does feel a little more polished than kind of the half-assed assembly of some of those Little Big Planet levels.
That's interesting. I was just thinking it's almost too bad that there's not going to be, or maybe there will be, I don't know, but it seems like there's not going to be a Little Big Planet 4 because they've got this thing. And then Media Molecule is working on, or I guess they finished Dreams or put it out in whatever state, which is just the next version of their game creator, I suppose. Yeah. Little Big Planet was just for making platformer levels and Dreams. It seems like you can make almost anything from what I've seen people doing in that.
It's crazy what people have made with Dreams, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, well, on one level it's sad that there's not a Little Big Planet 4, but I feel like if you were super into creating stuff in Little Big Planet, you could move over to Dreams and maybe have a little more freedom. And if you just like playing the levels as Sackboy, then there's this thing.
Yeah, yes. I mean, there are still 5 other Little Big Planet games that have all of that built into it that you could do.
Right. I mean, you could still go back and play Little Big Planet 3 on your PS5 even, because wasn't that a PS4 game?
It was, yeah. Yeah, and Media Molecule doesn't make these anymore. Sumo Digital is the is the developer now. They did Little Big Planet 3 for the PS4, and they did Sackboy as well.
Really?
Yeah. So they have kind of taken over this license, this property, and kind of brought it into the current generation, I guess.
It's interesting because Sackboy seemed like the closest PlayStation and Sony, I guess, had gotten to having a real mascot for a while.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of
absolutely.
vanished last generation.
Sony does that, unfortunately. They don't commit to characters the way that Nintendo does. And I mean, obviously, if you're a fan of Metroid, how committed is Nintendo to Metroid? Or, pick your other sort of half-forgotten kind of license of choice. But, all of these... Though. Right, absolutely. But you would think Sony would just kill to have a Mario, right? Mm-hmm. But Sackboy is probably the closest they ever got to that. And I think, like Mario, Sackboy is this sort of bland enough and generic enough kind of hero that you can kind of glom anything onto him.
Yeah.
And the thing that sort of works about Mario is you kind of put him in every scenario, and he still kind of rises to the occasion. He can still be kind of the generic hero you need in whatever, convoluted scenario that you can cook up for him. Sackboy is by design, he is a burlap sack knit into a kind of a blank canvas of a doll. The fun thing about A Big Adventure is that they kind of build this entire world where he is one of many sacklings that live in a place where this sort of evil villain Vex is trying to steal all the sack people and put them to work on his crazy factory that is eating up all of the world around him and blah, blah, blah. So it is much more story and much more character than a Little Big Planet game has ever had.
Got all the Sackboy lore.
Yeah, it's interesting to sort of see these developers kind of like backfill a world and a story and a character into this tool set, essentially. It's very clear to me that Media Molecule in the past kind of built a game maker, and then when they shipped a campaign with their product, they built a bunch of really good levels with their own game maker. So they were kind of limited to that kind of tool set. Mm-hmm. So to take that away, to sort of just say from the ground up, we're going to create this really huge, crazy open world with a Sackboy that has a ton of moves and a lot of interesting kind of characters and interaction points and stuff like that, I think really has kind of opened up the potential of this thing. And I can't help but think that if it did ship with a tool set, with a game maker mode, that it would be much more limited, that it wouldn't feel nearly as kind of expansive as it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like if you put out, or if the new Mario game was exclusively in Super Mario Maker 2 or something, you had to use those construction tools.
Yeah. Yeah. And those work because, you drop them into a level in a way that is challenging or unique or fun or... or really just everybody kind of tries to remake Super Mario Brothers 1-1.
Not calling anybody out here.
No, but yeah, if a tool set, if a level builder is ever put into a game, inevitably the first thing that rolls out is Mario 1-1.
Right.
Yeah. So again, there is a lot of work that is kind of being done into creating kind of lore and character in a series that has never really needed that before. So it's interesting. There's some really good voice acting. Little Big Planet games have always had a really good narrator. Stephen Fry has been the narrator for the Little Big Planet games. You have a female narrator now. It's Dawn French. Do you know the PBS show or the BBC show French and Saunders?
I have heard of it.
She's a British actress. And she is this female sackling explorer who has gone before you, and she's kind of your Sherpa through the game. So she pops up all the time and kind of gives you advice and gets you pumped up for your next challenge. The villain is Richard E. Grant. He's been in a ton of stuff, and he hams it up. He's a character called Vex, and he reminds me a lot of Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah. He just kind of chews scenery and gives you these long, sort of like expansive, villainous kind of speeches. So yeah, there's a lot of really fun stuff happening in this that, again, I can't help but think in a proper Little Big Planet game, there just would not be room or would not be a tool set to be able to do stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. It really wasn't the focus of those games. It was just kind of like they had to have something there so it wasn't entirely reliant on people's custom levels.
Right. And in Little Big Planet, it was inspirational. It was like, look what you can do with this, right? We made this.
Right.
I mean, that's why sort of the levels that ship with Mario Maker are fun, because it's a lot of really smart, creative people making levels with a really kind of limited tool set. So yeah, it's cool to sort of see kind of unshackled from the Little Big Planet machine what you can do with kind of a Sackboy game.
Well, I'm glad it's working out. I was kind of worried about how this would turn out. Yeah,
for the first time I saw a trailer for it, I was sort of like, maybe they don't understand what makes these fun.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was just like, I don't really like Little Big Planet as just pure platforming mechanics. It's really more about just what people are able to come up with level creator.
Right. So to take that out of the thing.
Yeah. I thought that was a pretty big gamble.
Isn't that the thing? Right. Exactly. But no, it's cool. I've had a really good time with it. I think one of the things that I sort of wanted to recommend to our listeners is if you have other people in your house, because it has 4-player co-op, you can play the entire game with 4 people at once, up to 4. And there are levels, in fact, that you have to play co-op. And there are multiple pathways in each level that 2 players, 4 players can go down different roads on. And it all works local right now, and later it's going to be patched, they say in December, so that it all works online as well. But man, if you've got, if you're home for the holidays and you've got a bunch of people around and you don't know what to do with them, I think there is a lot of fun to be had with some of these crazy, wacky levels in the Sackboy game. So hand out a few very expensive controllers, and get them to play Sackboy with you.
You're playing this on your brand new PS5?
I am playing it on my fairly ancient PS4.
Oh, no. Oh, well.
And it works fine. It works beautifully. I have no problem with and it looks gorgeous. I don't know. I'm not sure what kind of upgrade it gets in the transition to the PS5, but
I don't know.
It works just fine on the PS4.
I heard that controller is pretty cool, but that's about all I've heard people talking about so far.
Yeah, that does seem to be kind of the big selling point so far, right? And how zippy the load times are.
Yeah, that too. Man, Bugsnax load time is kind of slow. It's my biggest complaint about the game. It's not even a big deal because the whole time you're just watching a load screen filled with all the Bugsnax you've captured. But I watched somebody playing it on PC and they're much faster, and I can only imagine that they're just like instantaneous on PS5. Would be nice.
Huh. Yeah, the PS5, it just opens up a time vortex.
Right.
It actually starts the game before you even put the disc in.
Yeah, you're already done.
Yeah. That's crazy. So I didn't get a PS5. You clearly didn't get a PS5.
No.
What will it take to get you to take the leap?
I don't know. They keep they actually once I actually get some exclusive games out there other than Demon Souls. I was actually really curious to play the Demon Souls remake. But like that's just one game, and I don't know. I've never made it super far into any of those games to begin with, so I feel like that's not the entry point for me. Yeah,
so buying a big expensive console around that proposition is probably foolish.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 16 maybe? That looks pretty good.
And that's that's PS4, right? I remember seeing that during the reveal.
I think it's PS5. I don't know if it's going to be
PS5.
PS4.
Sorry. Yeah,
okay, yeah.
Too many numbers. I think that's probably my issue with the Xbox Series X and with the PS5 at this point. Not to overlook the Xbox, but just there hasn't been anything super compelling about them, I think. Yeah. I feel like I had a conversation with somebody on Twitter that they were super excited about their PS5. And I'm like, what games are you getting? And they're like, oh, Miles Morales and Sackboy and Fortnite.
And Fortnite, yeah.
And I'm like, all of those are on the PS4. I have a console that runs all those games already. Not to take away from your fun. I certainly don't want to rain on anybody's parade. Right. But those are not compelling enough reasons for me to want to splurge on a new console just yet.
I am tempted by everybody saying that there's so many PS4 games that just run better on a PS5. Like Ghost of Tsushima runs, I think, 60 frames per second. And normally I'm not somebody to be a real stickler over like, oh, this game, it's only 30 frames per second. I can't even look at this. but does kind of sound nice. Things just are better with a PS5, but also I can, I'm hoping I can hold out to like the first hardware refresh, like whether it's PS5 Slim or Pro or whatever happens, because it just seems like a good plan.
That box is a behemoth, man.
Yeah, it's huge also.
Yeah. The next one will just be like the size of a Chromecast. This little dongle that plugs into the back of your TV.
It'll just be I was thinking like PS6 will just be, it'll replace your sofa. You just sit on top of it while you're playing games.
It'll be like one of those tiny homes. You have to sort of put it on a concrete slab in the back of your house, right?
Just live in it.
You got to wire it directly into the city grid.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. All right. Well, we had our next gen console conversation right here on the show.
Hopefully you didn't miss it. No, I am actually curious. Weirdly enough, that Xbox S is pretty appealing. The new S, not the old S with the very similar name.
Yeah.
But I haven't had an Xbox in a while. I didn't have one last generation, and Game Pass is pretty good.
Absolutely.
It's very small. If I could just tuck that thing away somewhere, it might be good. But also just not I'm not dying to have 100 new games to play right now.
Right. Yeah, that's we have somebody in our Discord, Essian, is on our Discord, and he did not have a PS4 for this generation and just got a PS5 and is just crushed with games to catch up on. And I'm like, man, I don't envy you at all, because that is... Yeah, if I had to play through the last 7 years of PS4 games, that would be too much.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't have a PS4, I'd be all about the PS5, I think.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Cool. All right, we should wrap this thing up, I guess, right?
Or Xbox, for that matter. I don't want to look like I'm showing favoritism.
Yeah.
Sorry, just to get that last bit in there, we should wrap it up.
Yeah. Man, I have.
How do we do that?
How do we end the show? What's the thing? Yeah, we should. Where's the outline? If you need any more video game, it's not like I've done 500 of these and don't know it by now. But if you need any more video game hangover in your brain, you should follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/VGHangover. Or join us on Discord. You can get a link to that at VGHangover.com, where, incidentally, you can also go for show notes, links, and to tell us what you thought about this very episode.
Yeah.
Please subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts. And perhaps most importantly, even more than all of those other things, is just tell your friends about us. Just help us get the word out about this thing that we do every week, please.
Yeah. Tell your friends that we said something nasty about their favorite console this week.
Yeah. Tell them to fight with us on Twitter.
Oh, no. Hope that's not inviting the wrong crowd in, but whatever.
Be careful what you wish for. Exactly.
We wanted to give thanks again to Lemonectric for our intro and outro music this week. If you want to hear more of his stuff, head on over to lemonectric.bandcamp.com.
Excellent. We will be back next week. Until then, this is Randy Dickinson.
This is DJ Ross.
Thanks for listening to Video Game Hangover. Goodbye.
Good night.
See ya.